All right, all my good old boys out there, we're back in the studios and today, and I got a gentleman who I've come to know over the last couple of years, and today we're going to be getting a little hippie-ish. And good old boys, I've said it before, you can be a redneck, a coon ass, or a hippie, and that's what we have in the studio today. We have Mr. AJ Olson from Hippie with a Haircut. How's it going, AJ, man?
Oh, it's going great. And so since the last time, I updated the name.
Yeah,
It's
what's
just
the new
Hippie
name?
Fertilizing.
Hippie Fertilizing.
That's right, because I was getting confused with the barbershop, and I do not cut hair.
There's a barber shop that's hippie with a haircut.
No, but when it comes to listings and online marketing, it's
That's where they throw you into.
like, do you cut hair and grass? No,
Mm.
no. And these days, luckily, I don't even cut grass.
Oh man, you tried that for a while, huh?
Yeah, yeah. And occasionally I think about going like adding to it, but these days I just do so much better, supporting soil biology.
Yeah. The in this area, the lawn mowing business is saturated, wouldn't you say?
I wouldn't even say that's the problem, coming from someone who mowed lawns.
Uh-huh.
It's a very undervalued profession. Everyone wants their lawn mowed, but they all want to pay $20 to get it done because they all know someone around the corner that did it for $20.
I just
Well,
recently,
that's cool.
you know me, I'd always cut my grass, and this past season, I actually turned it over to a guy to do it. And it was a guy that cuts like my neighbors and the neighbor and the neighbor. So I knew he was always here.
Right.
Because that was a problem. Like a guy would show up and then he wouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
And he'd show up and he wouldn't. So, yeah, I turned that over this year, which was good. Freed up my time.
Oh yeah, and so I mean it's a valuable thing, but fortunately coming into the organic fertilizing, which I do now, has just been so much more valuable for me. I can provide like a more valuable service to my customers, and it's something I really, really, really enjoy.
Yeah.
So, uh, when you get to see people's faces sometimes when they're like, "You can't turn this around. I tried everything," and then especially during the right season, 2 weeks later, and they're like, "Oh my God, what did you do?" I'm like, "I just sprayed hippie juice on there."
So your specialty is, you're hippie fertilizing, but you're not using your box brands of Roundup and weed and feed and all those things. You're taking the organic approach.
Organic, holistic, natural, however you want to term it. That's what I do. I follow one rule and one rule only.
What's your rule?
Support soil biology. All right.
Yeah.
Hey, so like, are you down with SSB?
You know me.
Yeah, you know me.
So, and AJ has been very kind. We're also working on the video portion of this. My last episode, we were able to upload it to YouTube. We did a Zoom call with the guys from Disabled Outdoorsmen. And so now, we're trying new things. We're branching out. We're going to see what happens. AJ is my test pig on this one. So, no actual animals were harmed in the making of this episode. So, AJ, how did you get into this? What made you decide I'm going to go, hug a lawn?
Hugging lawns, hugging trees, trying to be out there supporting the bees.
There you go.
Yeah. It was a few things that led up to it. Number one, when I was younger, I really wanted to do something for the environment, but I didn't know how. And I didn't want to go to college, get an environmental engineer, all that good stuff. Got into lawn care. People used to pay me to do various things. One of them was use weed and feed or weed killers in the lawn. And I figured, hey, young, 25 years old, you're going to pay me to spray the lawn to kill the weeds? Cool, I'm down. But then I got sick very shortly after, just a few times doing it. And stuff you can buy from the Houston Garden Center even has on the label rubber gloves, rubber boots, fully clothed, respirator.
What kind of sick did you get? Like, what was happening?
I got nosebleeds, dizziness, headaches. I've never gotten nosebleeds, ever.
Really?
Dizziness. Like, I'd have to work a hard day in the middle of summer and not drink water all day to get dizzy. I've never experienced that sort of stuff. And like nausea,
Were you wearing any kind of like PPE, a face mask or rubber gloves or boots or anything like that? Or it was just
Nothing.
go to town?
I went to town. I read enough to know what to do to kill the weeds, and I stopped reading the label.
As soon as it said what to do, you stopped, huh?
Right. You know? And then after
trial by fire, I love it. That's how we get a lot of stuff done nowadays.
After I had that experience, I read the full label, and I realized, like, hey, this is a big deal if that much PPE is required. You know, I went through basic training, right? I was in the Army Reserves. They taught you with the gas mask, usually if you smell it, you're probably going to die.
So a hippie who was in the Army.
Yes.
Yeah, I love it. That's awesome. So you start doing this, you're wanting to help the environment, but that is now you're learning like, oh man, I'm not feeling good. I'm getting sick. You don't want to stop what you're doing. So where do you go next? What do you start looking at?
Well, then,
did you have the internet at this time?
I did.
Where's Google around?
Yeah, Google's, been around pretty much most of my lifetime.
Oh, good.
Fortunately.
You're lucky.
Yeah, I am. Some people have paid for degrees to learn what I've learned.
It's all out there. It's amazing. Now just going and getting, what was that?
It's probably my phone.
Okay, that's cool. You have guys who do go to school and go to college and get their engineering, get their degrees and things like that. But it's almost like in Goodwill Hunting, when he says like you can learn the same thing for $5.35 in late fees by going to the public library. How you like them apples?
It's so
Information true. Is out there.
And I really learned a lot of stuff at the library as well.
Really?
Yes.
I think libraries are very still underrated.
Super underrated.
Everything that they offer.
You have almost a whole college right there.
Yeah.
If you just learn to teach yourself to ask questions.
I told somebody this in one of the other episodes too. Is like if you're ever driving somewhere and you need to use the bathroom, find a library because they're always clean
and empty.
Yeah. So there you go. So you start delving in.
I did.
First Google search.
So another part of using the chemicals and having that experience, right? Like opened my eyes to how nasty it was. So it made me ask all the questions. But then the other part was I was broke and someone else, wanted me to fertilize their lawn. I was like, okay, I got this much money. I went and bought some cheap organic fertilizer from Home Depot. It said it wouldn't burn the lawn. It said it would green up the grass, everything someone wants. I bought it in the middle of summertime. It worked. I was like, what's up with this organic stuff?
What was it?
Milorganite.
Okay, Milorganite?
Yeah. So if you're on a budget or you're just skeptical about organics, like it's not like my favorite product these days, but it's definitely still better than your typical weed and feed or the other chemical fertilizers. Most definitely. And it worked. So I was like, whoa, what's up why did this work? What's up? And started asking questions. We are so fortunate to have the Microlife company based out of Houston.
They are, yeah.
So a few of my mentors and friends are master certified arborists, one in which owns many tree companies and goes throughout United States to do tree work, right? He's like, dude, I've been everywhere in the United States. Nobody makes better stuff than Microlife. I'm like, how lucky am I? I get into organic fertilizing and we got the best stuff in town.
And right in your backyard. And there it is. And it's everywhere now. Well, it's not your big box. You got to go to like an Ace True Value or a
nursery.
A nursery for that.
They will not allow it to be sold in a big box store.
Really?
Yeah. And part of the reason is that it brings down the value for the nursery or the Ace.
Right.
And because they can buy it, sell it for cheaper.
Yeah, they have more buying power.
Yeah, and they've crushed businesses because people have gotten with them. And like EcoSmart is a pretty popular brand for natural pest control products. EcoSmart almost went under because they used to be at Home Depot, and then Home Depot cut them for EcoLogic. So they had to rebrand their stuff.
Channel.
Oh man, because you have to be able to produce so much to do work with them.
Oh man.
Yeah. So, a lot of good quality products, compost, soils, organic fertilizers, and just even beyond Microlife, they will not allow their stuff to be sold in big box stores.
Well, that's good for them. I mean, that's kind of a testament. That's, that's like the little towns all over you have little towns all over the United States that, Walmart tries to come in and they're like, no, and they push them back.
Thank God. Good.
Yeah. I mean, I love our town we live in. There's a lot here handy, but man, I miss me a small town.
I do. I grew up here.
Yeah. So did my wife. And
it's not the same.
I'll be driving somewhere with her and she'll be like, there used to be nothing here. Like even 96 where we are.
Yeah, no, pasture.
Yeah. We kind of got lost the other day on the way back from Austin, and we ended up in LaGrange. And dude, we like pulled through here and was like, what is this little town? And I know the song from the Charlie Robinson song, but man, we pulled in there in a little downtown and a little coffee shop we stopped into and all this stuff. And I was just like, I want to come back here, spend a day, just hang out. So, but that's okay. We tend to go on rants around here, so we got to try and bring it back, and I'm working on that. So
it's all good.
Yeah. So AJ, where do you start when people are, and God, my lawns, shit, I've been fighting my lawn since I moved in here, and you've known me since I moved in here. I just haven't been consistent, and I have done the organic, I have done the chemical, I've gone, back and forth in between everything. You look at a lawn. What do people need to know?
Okay, to me, I look at it largely as a re-education process, right?
Educate us.
So you're looking at your lawn like the HOA is going to call me for weeds. I want to have a better lawn than my neighbor.
Damn straight.
Right. And
I want to make them cry.
See, I don't care about the lawn. I want to have a bigger truck, like you talk trash about my weeds, but I'll tell you you're on a block, homeboy.
You're the only hippie I know that drives a diesel. It's a Dodge, right?
Yeah.
Big diesel, them keys are ring.
6'7", straight pipe, 5-inch. That sucker roars.
Oh, you are a walking contradiction of what a hippie should be, and I really appreciate it.
And I don't, honestly, one of my goals, like personally, I want to have a 9-second diesel.
Really?
Rolling coal, baby. Sorry, I know it goes against the environmental stuff, but the rush.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. Anytime I get a chance to drive a diesel, man, they're great.
Well,
they're great.
If you ever want to, you can just fly mine down 96.
Right. So where do we start? It's a re-education. You say what's the misconception versus the actual information?
The first thing you said that you've been doing for years, you're trying to fight the lawn.
Right.
Okay. So how did you learn that a weed was a weed?
It's what my mother made me pull out of the garden when I was a kid.
So that's a little different if it was an actual garden.
Okay. So weed for me is crabgrass.
And how did you learn about it, though? Let me ask you that.
Google.
No, I doubt it.
Okay.
You probably learned a little bit more about it from Google, but I can almost guarantee if we could trace back in your memory, right, it would be a series of Scott's commercials saying, do you have that low-life crabgrass in your lawn? Scott's Weed and Feed will feed your lawn and kill that low-life crabgrass. Really? I never met crabgrass that tried to punch me and steal my wallet.
The advertisers got me.
The marketing is good.
Marketing.
So marketing, 60 seconds or a minute, whatever it is, it's information. And it's teaching us whether it's valuable or correct or not. Right? Take this, take that, do that. Did you learn about the side effects? No, because you just listened to the highlights. You said, it's going to kill this. It sounded convenient. It sounded important.
Because you don't want crabgrass in your grass.
Why? Have you ever checked out those root systems? They're incredible.
Yeah. I have. Okay. I have sat in my yard and dug them up. So I have gone out there with a little shovel spade and pulled these son of a bitches up.
So check this out.
And I've pulled it all up and got it all up because the way when I get to my Google now, it says you could either use this product or you have to actually yank them up.
Well, I got news for you, okay? And make things a little easier for you.
Go ahead.
Even though I'm against the whole weed killing bit, you can use orange oil and water Okay, maybe about 8 ounces to a gallon of water. Spray it in the center, spot spray it, and in 2 days that sucker will die and shrivel up, and you can like peel it right off the grass.
Why is that?
Because the citrus properties of the orange oil will strip the plant and burn it literally.
Really?
Yes.
Do I have to wear gloves for that?
No. I've actually like put it, like swashed it in my mouth.
I have seen you do that with some of the stuff you do. So is it like, is that the orange neem oil?
Neem oil is different. Neem oil is neem oil. Orange oil is orange oil.
Okay.
And then also you could use landscape vinegar, but spot spray it. I prefer orange oil because the oil properties are actually going to help out the soil as they break down.
How's that?
I've just recently learned that oils, and neem oil is one of them, will help build up like the lipids. Basically, it helps just feed the soil biology, and you get less fungus issues, like negative fungus issues.
That's another thing.
Yeah, like
that's bad around here.
But that's because everyone's using the junk and killing off essentially their soil's immune system. So I'm sure you've heard of like taking probiotics, right?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, so the stuff that I use is like probiotics for the lawn.
Okay.
So the other part, to kind of go back to the question of how I approach this, is the re-education, and I like to look at it like, I don't fight problems, I don't treat problems, I feed solutions. You feed what you want, and that will usually take over what you don't want, right? Instead of an insecticide and fungicide and herbicide and all these aside, if it says aside, set it aside. Okay.
I like it.
Like, what are you gonna do if you get a cold?
I take medicine.
Okay, well,
hopefully though, I have prepared my body with enough vitamin C, magnesium, zinc, probiotics and prebiotics, and all my greens and everything else, supplements I take to keep me healthy, that it doesn't affect me. And if it does, it's cut in half.
Okay, so I look at it this way. I would rather go to grandma's chicken soup.
Yes.
For a cold.
Yeah.
Then some people, like, they get a sniffle and they want to get like all the antibiotics, or they want to go get chemo. And I'm like, hey, don't go get chemo over a cold.
Give me the shot. Give me that steroid shot.
Like your body learns from this stuff. And what we tend to do is really commit chemical warfare on our lawns, perpetuating our problems, because those insecticides and fungicides and everything, they kill off more good stuff than they kill off bad stuff, right? So they don't allow for nature to like do what nature does best. Like your immune system in most cases can fight off things naturally, right? Like I said, in most cases. So, I mean, with lawns, I say there's never an instance. Last year, I figured out how to kill chinch bugs naturally.
Dude, once again, last year, I went to war with those son of a bitches, where I was like, every week I was, went get the blue bottle and I sprayed it. And I sprayed the whole lawn. I told the kids, don't get on the lawn. I told the dogs on, that's what I did. And then I waited a week and I sprayed another one. And I did that because, I was just so mad at it. And I've got my wife, who I love my wife very much, but I'm sitting there and it's in the back of my head, and this has caused tension where she's like, this grass is so ugly. What are you going to do about it? I'm doing it. I am doing it, darling.
Okay, I get that's like where my hippie part comes in. It's so ugly. It's this, it's that. It's like, man, why are people, we live a good life if our lawn is what stresses us out.
Yeah. I'm just going to adjust it a little bit. Get it more up high, get you some clearance. So,
is it too loud or?
No. Well, you can be a little louder if you want. So,
okay.
Yeah.
But I hear the number one thing I hear all the time that I think is kind of funny and it drives me nuts is, AJ, the weeds are killing me. And I'm thinking to myself, well, I'm not a doctor, so you better call a doctor.
That's just sales.
Because let's take some common ones. Clover. Everyone freaks out over clover. You know what clover does?
What does clover do?
clover naturally fixes atmospheric nitrogen from the air and puts it into your soil. And then when it heats up outside, mostly that clover dies off.
So right now in my yard, I've got like, it's all kind of brown. It's died. It's dead. And
It's gone dormant.
Gone dormant. Yeah.
Dormant.
Please correct me for proper nomenclature. And but right by the front, there's a big old patch of clover and flowers that my kids pick for my wife whenever they come in.
See, and your kids see
I'm not
it as
mad
flowers.
at it. You know.
And dandelion, okay? Dandelion mines up calcium and other minerals. And so a lot of times weeds are signs of deficiencies, right? Of certain things. And when we use these chemical fertilizers, there's a lot of salt. The type of nitrogen is unhealthy for the soil and creates fast growth, making weak plant cells, making your stuff more susceptible to your favorite thing, chinch bugs, right? Or you know, brown patch, right? Because you've annihilated the immune system.
Gray spot, yeah, all that.
And some of these things are just seasonal. I got everyone calling me right now because we've had 5 days of 75-degree weather or something. And they're like, it's springtime. Anyone listening, this year, it's March 10th is when the time changes. So after that, you can have some like more perfect lawn expectations, because the frequency of the light coming to the earth right now is different than it is in spring and summertime. Something that most people don't realize. And that changes everything on how everything grows. Plus, the other factor of grass is that it needs to be above an average temperature of 60 degrees at night for your grass to go out of its dormancy. And that hasn't been the case.
No, it was last night I woke up about 2 a.m. and I was just cold. And I went to look at my thermostat and I pulled it up on my phone. I was like, holy hell, it's like 65 in the house. I hurried up and turned all the heaters on because it was 70. It was 72 during the day.
Yeah.
And now it's probably in the 50s, 60s.
Yeah, it's in the mid 50s right now.
Yeah.
And this morning when I got up, it was 37 degrees.
Yeah.
So it's not warm enough yet for us to have our beautiful Texas St. Augustine lawns.
Should we be watering right now?
Not really. We've had so much rain. Do not water. That will just cause you problems.
Oh, I'll turn my sprinkler off. What about these? What about these weeds where it's like the big giant stalk just coming out and it's got the leaves that are like real pointy and prickly? And
those are, I believe, different types of thistle.
Yeah.
And, me personally, I just rip them out.
Okay.
Right. Again, anything that's an herbicide, anything that says aside, set it aside. Because anytime you try and kill that plant, or especially if you want to do it in an easy way, in a broadcasting manner, you're kind of setting everything else up for diseases and issues. But the other aspect of, say, hippie fertilizing, right? I love fertilizing. I'm actually good at making pretty lawns. Maybe you've seen some of the results of the pictures I've posted, right? But check this out. What's been a big problem here in the last couple of years?
The chinch bugs?
No, and I'm talking about environmentally. I would say flooding.
Yeah.
Flooding's been a huge issue. I've even been to city council meetings more often, and Bay Ridge is, they're up there all the time. And we know why.
With good reason why. We witnessed it.
Yeah. I was over there helping people afterwards.
Yeah.
And so think about this. I've done the numbers, right? We look at lawns as this thing that we need to compare to and make perfect and yada, yada, yada. Well, let's look at it as what it should be looked at as an environmental green space. Okay. In the US, there is more than 53,000 acres of lawn. There's more lawn than there is corn in the United States.
Wow.
Did you know that?
No.
It is the number one most irrigated crop in the United States. So check this out. And because, homeowners don't know any better, and they are not subject to rules like agriculture or other businesses, homeowners tend to use 3 times more herbicides, pesticides, and chemicals on their lawn than farmers, right? And they say farmers, it's a big issue. They're spraying with Roundup. They're putting all these pesticides. Well, we're doing the same thing to ourselves over a weed. So
we're upset because we're trying to buy the more expensive organic tomatoes at HEB, but at the same time we're dumping down Roundup all over our yard. The same thing that we don't want on our food.
Exactly. And if you can smell it, which
it's potent,
yeah, then you're exposed to it. And when you smell it, your body doesn't filter it out like you do when you drink something, right? So there's that aspect.
There's it's like 5 ways that some stuff gets into your body. You either ingest, inhale, a puncture wound, or
even absorption through your skin.
Yeah,
and that happens in seconds. People think it takes a long time, but it's almost instant. So I did the numbers on this. Let's take a 4,000 square foot turf, right? Do you know what the average recommended watering rate is?
No.
1 inch per week, right? So at 1 inch per week per average recommendations, that turns out to be 9,920 gallons a month. All right. Almost 10,000 gallons of water to water your lawn.
That's a lot.
That's a lot, right? So check this out. If we looked at it as a green space and supporting soil biology, looking at it as in place to have
who put out that recommendation?
To be exact, I don't know, but I know it's all over Scott's stuff. It's all over, you know, all your conventional information.
Yeah, that's
what it's based on, and it's like 0.62 gallons per square foot.
Okay,
right. So anyway, you can Google search this, and 1 inch per week is that main
I've heard
thing.
that where you take even like a tuna tin or something and put it out in your yard, and
because it's 1
inch
tuna
deep,
can is 1 inch. So check this out. If we could absorb 8 inches of rain in an hour, now that's a lot of flipping rain, right? You know what that turns into in that same 4,000 square feet?
What's that?
27,000 gallons. I did my math on this a few times.
Okay.
So if we didn't think of, like, if we just kind of shifted our view, right? We've shifted our view on many things over the years. You know, in the 1950s, they had a Camel cigarette commercial that said 9 out of 10 doctors recommend Camels, right? Yeah. They used to recommend menthol cigarettes for coughing.
Yeah. Eases
you knew that, right?
Yeah, it would. Their reasoning was it eased the vocal cords and it eased the esophagus. The cooling menthol. That's when you had like mentholatum and all that. Menthol was the cool thing. So let's throw it in a cigarette.
Right. So like, you know, information changes. The truth does not. I look at it, and this is, you know, there's many different aspects, and we can go in many different directions. But obviously, lawns and fertilizing is where I look at it. So it's a re-education process. I don't want to poison myself because someone else told me to kill a plant. That's silly. These plants never hurt me. I mean, maybe poison ivy really gets to people, right?
Yeah.
But other than that, your common weeds in your lawn, they're not attacking you. They're not hurting you, your kids, your dog. In fact, they're opening up the soil so you can absorb more water and reduce the stress of the infrastructure when we have heavy rains.
So what about whenever they say, like, for instance, crabgrass is it grows out, it chokes all the good grass out?
That's not really true.
Why?
Why is it not true?
Why? Because these things will grow out and further and further and further, and then I've got a big, you know.
Well, no, I have watched your lawn over the years. You do have a particular case of some bad crabgrass. Bad. More than most people.
I don't know what it is. I'm ready to like just scorch the whole thing and lay down some new sod. Like, I think I pissed off a couple of people, and when they came, they were like, "Okay, guys, put every piece of crabgrass." It's like if they're selecting the sod, they say like, "Oh man, here's all crabgrass. Yeah, bring it to Buster's house and put it in his." So
yeah, I know the one area in the front was like particularly bad.
That's the one where I've spent like 3 hours pulling.
Okay, here's why it's getting worse. The roots on there are tuber roots, right? So every time you rip it out, you leave little pieces. Those little pieces grow into more. So like try the orange oil and water.
Okay.
All right. And it's going to work best when it heats up.
Mm-hmm.
So don't trip on it right now.
You got to tell my wife that. And my father-in-law. My father-in-law will come here and alarm Mike.
I know he almost murdered the lawn once when I was working on it in the past.
Well.
And luckily I have pictures to prove that I brought the backyard back.
Yeah. But he'll get out there with like an axe or something and like chop them out and get them out.
You know, it's time consuming, but one of the best ways to start to overcome a lawn or a weed infestation is mowing with a bag, because every time you're going to pick up the seeds.
I will do that every time.
Every single time?
Yes.
And you mow it at the highest setting?
Yes.
I know you do, because I drive by occasionally.
You've seen me in my Ranger panties and my white shrimp boots and my hat and I'm going to town, and you know that's the one thing I've always done, because I've heard
try some microlife this year and feed the soil.
Okay.
Feed it. Because like I said, a lot of times these weeds are indications that you need more like proper nutrients.
So what should people be doing right now? It is mid-February. What should people be doing to prep on? Because I've heard, hey, you got to prep your lawn and throw down, your typical, you apply fertilizer, then you apply a broadleaf, and then you apply a slow release, and then a fast release, and then another application of broadleaf, and then you put your herbicide, and then, you know what I'm talking about. Right?
I know,
and I don't want to go that way.
Conventional thinking, though.
Okay,
right. For one, so again, the re-education process. I'm not going to fight a lawn. That's silly. I got bigger problems in my life. Every year you look at my lawn right now, you're going to be like, AJ, I don't know how you're in business. You don't know crap. Middle of summertime, you're going to look at my water bill and look at my grass and be like, this doesn't add up, bro. Your lawn's perfect. Because I don't fight it.
I hate, that's another thing I hate is my watering. And I don't know if I just don't have it right, but I'll water like for, I think, 5 minutes in every section.
I got a product that I want you to try this year.
All right.
Okay. Some microlife hybrid. It's a 2005. It's got loads of nitrogen. It's going to make your grass grow like it's on organic steroids. Okay.
All right. Hey.
And
I'll put my lawn on a cycle.
Yeah. So some good old organic juice.
Yeah. So what should people be doing right now? Like I said, we go off on tangents and then we try and bring it back. So
Humates Plus is really good to use right now.
Now, what is Humate? I know what it is, but if somebody here is listening, they're like, what the hell is Humate?
Okay, the best way to explain it, and as quickly as I can, is a Humate product, or it's called humic acid, is a form of like carbon with tons of minerals, and it helps chelate other minerals. It helps lock up toxins. It helps open up clay soils. So imagine, we all have lovely clay soil around here, right? Imagine it like plastic shower sheet on your ground. And so what Humates does is like pokes millions of little holes in it. Okay. So it kind of opens it up. Humates does so many things. I could write a book just on that. It's incredible. But it also has the microlife products especially have biological inoculant packages. So they have good bacteria and good fungi that are going to help support your soil's immune system. But the other thing that is really one of the best things to do is compost. I used to think like, oh, that's too expensive, or this and that and the other. It's too much work. Well, now that's how I make the most money, because that's it for my customers. That's how I know I'm going to get the best results.
Are you doing composting right now on lawns?
Everybody's lawn. Yes. Like if they want it, we're composting it, because that from the last few years, I started doing that again. I'm like, God dang, this is the golden ticket.
You've done it for my yard.
Yeah, I did one time.
Yeah.
And I swear, I promise you, right at that time, you had a chinch bug issue.
Yeah, I did.
And I swear it would have been way worse had I not composted.
Oh, I'd be mowing my grass, and all of a sudden these little white moths are flying up out of my lawn.
That's
and,
a sod webworm.
Yeah, that's what it was.
That's
the
what it
sod
was?
webworms were really, really bad.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I was pulling up like chunks.
Quit pulling up the grass when it looks bad.
But I mean, I'd just grab it and I'd pull it up like a bad toupee. There was nothing. There were no roots. There was nothing. The grass is just sitting there, and then it dies. And then after a while, I'm trying to do my research on this, and I was here, oh, you got to aerate your lawn, you got to dethatch it, you got to do all this stuff to it, and so.
Well, these days I have what I like to call my hippie lawn restoration package.
What is in your package? Show us your package.
Well, sit down, stay calm. 1 cubic yard of compost, 1 cubic yard of enriched topsoil blend, bag of fertilizer, and hippie juice all together.
Mm-hmm.
And you won't see the results right now due to the season, but say we're in mid-March or through, say, middle of June, most of my lawns come back in 2 weeks.
Okay.
2 weeks. I love it because even through the past years, I've had like older gentlemen because they're kind of my toughest crowd. Yeah, this crap doesn't work. I was using Scots for 30 years. It's great. I'm like, yeah, my grandma smoked for like 35 years. She still died of lung cancer. That's cool. May have worked for you, but was it really? Anyway, I've had these gentlemen come to me and like, AJ, I'll be honest, I thought you were full of it. And I just let my wife, do what she was going to do. I'm not going to argue with her, but I have to say, I've never seen results like this. I'm like, yeah, organics works. Support soil biology, bro. Simple.
Well, I think it's kind of like the same thing that is happening with people nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
And we touched on this kind of earlier. Nowadays everybody's, they take their prebiotics, they take their ginkgo biloba, they're taking all these things that are trying to help support a better innard.
Yeah.
And
because your gut bacteria is incredible. Yeah. And the more I learn about organics, the more I learn about health. I'm a part of this organization called OBA. It's a Organic Horticultural Benefits Alliance. Last year, I got to go see this lady named Dr. Maya Klein. She wrote The Dirt Cure. Just last month, I saw a lady named Eva Selhub. She wrote Your Brain on Nature. And they are both traditionally trained doctors in their field. Dr. Maya Klein is a neurologist and a pediatrician, right? Mm-hmm. I forget the main field that Dr. Eva Selhub is in, but they both had extreme things happen in their life that made them like look for other answers. And they've both come to the conclusion like, nature and our bodies and the way we're designed is meant to like be fed a certain way and not through processed foods and tons of antibiotics. Don't get me wrong. I think medicine has its place, right?
Right.
But it's overused. Take a pill for this and a pill for that and a shot for this and a shot for that. You don't let your body learn. And we treat nature the same way. Let me treat this. Let me treat that. Let me treat that. What I like to get to the root of the cause, right?
I see what you did there.
I want to know what really caused it and how to fix it properly so that the plant can heal itself. Because a lot of times
So where's the lawn's gut?
In the soil. Absolutely, 100%.
Okay.
The tree's gut, the flowers, the rose, the bush, all their guts are in the root system in the soil. So around the root system, you have what's called a rhizosphere. There's more life around those little roots than there is on top of the surface, right? On the whole surface of a plant, there can be more life in like 5 inches of a root zone than the entire top of the plant. So check this out. We all hear about photosynthesis, right?
Right.
That's how the plant makes food for itself.
Yeah,
well, check it out. It's not really making food for itself. It's making food for the fungi and bacteria through what's called exudates. So they're basically trading off little food packets. So the little tree is like, hey, if you feed me, I'll feed you. And that's what happens. So you can have a bug bite a plant at the very top of it, right? Let's say a 200-foot oak tree or something. And that plant will send down enzymes to certain specific sets of bacteria that will send up other enzymes to it to like give it signals to ward off that bug. But when we feed plants synthetically, we shut down that food making system. We shut down its reason for making exudates.
Because it doesn't have to itself anymore.
It thinks it doesn't have to.
Okay.
You know, kind of like our body. Okay, we like chips, but it doesn't have everything that we need.
No.
But you can eat enough chips to be full, right?
Yeah. Well, they've also chemically engineered chips to make you want to eat more.
And so that's also how kind of like synthetic fertilizer works. You need more, and then you need more. And then I'm in this crazy loop of like, I treated it, I fed it, I treated it.
Is that
like, why, dude?
Okay, so
it's crazy.
When I go to like Home Depot and I see weed and feed and all this stuff, the price comparison is very small. Like it's cheaper. It is. But my organic, when I look at that, I'm like, I got sticker shock at it. So like, man, this is way more. It's almost sometimes, you know, either a third or, you know, it's a little more expensive. And the reason I'm asking that is almost like food nowadays. You can go to McDonald's and get a burger for $1. Or you can go get for $5, you know, a real healthy food. Let's just
say for $10 you get a grass-fed burger.
Correct. Okay.
Right. So I love some grass-fed meat, and I
had some last night. We made burgers. It was real good.
It's difference, right?
Yeah, it is.
And it's also a difference in the set of vitamins in it. So, you know, a person that eats grass-fed beef is less likely to be affected by heart disease and other like heart-related factors than a person who eats low-quality beef because of the vitamins that are in it.
And then how much? And this is kind of where I'm going with this. I might be leading you with this. Is that why it's cheaper? Because, like you just said, you have to use more, and then you use more, and then you use more.
It's cheaper because not only did you use more, but then you had a pest problem. Now you bought something for pest control. Now you have more weeds. You bought something for weed control because you are trained through marketing. I need this, this, and this, and this. And then without knowing what's going on, you have 5 different problems that you had to treat. So with organics, you're feeding everything. You're building that soil immunity. You're making healthier plants. So yeah, it costs you $50 for a bag of fertilizer. But the longer you use that and the same recommended time amounts as you would a normal fertilizer, you didn't necessarily have to buy stuff to kill chinch bugs, and you didn't have to water as much. So your irrigation costs go down. There's so many things you don't do when you use a little bit more expensive bag of fertilizer. Now, does it start out that way? No, because like sometimes your soil and your grass, your trees are going through a detox. And just like us, when we go through a juicing or a cleanse or anything, at first you feel like junk.
You feel like shit.
Right? Yeah.
I did that a few weeks ago. I went 24 hours. I did a 24-hour fast. I'm doing the intermittent fasting right now, but I just kind of wanted to push myself a little bit, and I did the 24 hours and sucked. And I kind of messed up because I did it after a weekend of not eating that well. Like I waited 2 days and I didn't. Man, I told my wife like I had problems with my sinus and everything, and now I'm way on the other side of that, and I feel like $1 million.
So the same works with organics. Your soil can still go through a detox. You're going to go through these changes. And how I look at it and what I've seen with my customers over and over again, especially after I've gotten better at perfecting my craft, right, is problems still happen. I don't care how healthy you are. You can catch flu or catch cold, right? But most of the time when you're healthier, it lasts a few days instead of a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Right. And so it takes a lot less inputs to fix a problem with an organic lawn.
Yeah, I just watched a video by Thomas DeLauer, and it talked about vitamin C, and when you get sick, about how your body you don't produce vitamin C. You have to get vitamin C through outside sources, and they did a clinical trial where like people who didn't take vitamin C, they got sick on average 50% more. People who did get sick when they had vitamin C in them, it lasted 50% less. So if someone got the flu and it lasted 7 days, and I'm just saying the flu, people don't be like, that's not how the flu works. No. Okay. So if somebody got sick and it lasted 7 days, somebody with vitamin C, the proper nutrition, the proper minerals, the proper biosphere, I guess, it lasted 3 days. So, and I think for environmental wise, I'm all about, I'm an outdoorsman, I'm a conservationist. I'm the guy that, you go in the woods, you bring out what you bring in and more if you can.
Right.
Cleaning up the environment. So making sure that they have that available. So that's my thought on it.
Which is excellent. And so how much would it take to contaminate a gallon of water of a substance? How much Roundup would it take to contaminate a gallon of water?
I'd guess a drop.
Right? Even if a fraction of a drop.
Right.
If I put a drop of Roundup in a gallon of water, would you drink it?
No.
But yet that's kind of what we do, because all that Roundup and all that crap goes into our own water system. And then we cook with that, right? We shower in it. So like
our kids playing it.
Right. We're poisoning our own selves and then blaming bigger companies for all the crap that they do. But yet we can't even get our own lawn and our own life off of like plant drugs. Like, dude, get the lawn on rehab.
Lawn's hooked. my lawn needs I like that, lawn rehab. There you go.
Yeah, man. I put lawns through Hippie rehab and it works. Well, consistency is key, just like anything. Working out is important, right? Eating healthy is not just something you do once a week. That's why it's called a cheat day.
Yeah.
You eat bad one day, not you eat good one day.
You should do it a cheat meal, because once you do one cheat meal, get back to eating healthy. You don't want to go a whole day of you just eating like shit.
But to me, when it comes to lawns, organics, plants, everything, there's never, ever, never, ever a reason to cheat. Don't do it, because you're cheating yourself, you're cheating your environment, and you're cheating everybody that has to enjoy that environment with you. Like, to me, I look at it like your kids are way more important than the weeds in your lawn. That's kind of hard to argue. That's hard to argue, right?
I'm going to tell that to my wife. Like, well,
no. Okay. Here. I just posted a blog of 6 reasons why not to use chemicals on the lawn. Do you know that animals, dogs especially, and because they're more out on the lawn than, say, if you had a cat, right? But dogs and children are more susceptible to these lawn chemicals than adults. They will get nausea. They can have these lawn chemicals can cause endocrine issues, ADD, ADHD. They mess with your gut bacteria, so many things. And children and dogs are much more susceptible to it, because then they have smaller livers and smaller kidneys, so they can't flush out the toxins like an adult can.
I've heard that, like, dogs, if there's an issue in your home and your dog starts acting, your dog will act funny before anyone else.
Right, because they have a much smaller system, so they can't get out the junk the way we're designed to.
I do think that we're putting way too much chemicals and other additives and stuff like that into our foods, into our drinks, into our stuff like that. And I think that's affecting our kids. I watch a lot of these documentaries, the magic pill and all those about food and how you should be eating and things like that, and how food is the best medicine. I believe that. And I think, AJ, what you're doing is you're actually bringing a good light to an area where people may not be thinking about. Because like we started off saying, you want the greenest lawn on the block. You want the nicest, fullest, luscious. And what are you going to do? You're going to do it at anything to get it going right away, because we're impatient, because we want it greened up. So let's go throw a bunch of iron on the lawn, or, we got chinch bugs. Let's go spray them and kill all those little sons of bitches.
Yeah. And it's like, I get it. Replacing a lawn is expensive.
Yes.
Dealing with HOA is a headache.
Yep.
Right? Having your name.
I know that one.
Right. I know you do. You know, so there's lots of good reasons I can understand people don't want to deal with this, but we get in a panic and we take all the wrong routes because unfortunately 9 times out of 10, you do a Google search, you ask your friend, you listen to, you know, some citrus guy on the radio, like they're telling you to treat everything. And that's not the right approach. Like your buddy doesn't know soil, most likely, unless you're friends with me. You know? Or friends with like some of my other friends. I have some super knowledgeable friends. So we get a lot of the wrong answers. Well, take this, try that, do that, cut it shorter. Don't ever mow St. Augustine less than 4 inches. I don't care what the season is. I don't care what somebody told you. St. Augustine grass grows best at 4 inches in a residential area. And that's only to keep everyone else happy. But in nature, it grows from 18 inches to 3 feet. And think about it this, before you want to chop off your lawn so it looks like a golf course, number one, it's not golf course grass. So don't treat it like that.
I know people that like say, they'll be like, oh, my grass looks so good. And when I look, I was like, you scalped this son of a bitch.
Oh, and I bet their water bill is insane.
Yeah.
You know, and what they try to do, like the average. So like my average customer probably spends about $600 a year, right? My average, before they came to me, they usually spend about $2,000 trying to just fix their lawn.
Oh, I've dropped some serious dollars on some stuff. And I'm like, shit.
You know, and some of it's going to happen, but I'm willing to bet like most of it was preventable. And some of it that did happen that you're dropping the bucks on, you didn't realize, but you created that on fire. You know, like, hey, let's put sugar in the gas tank. Yeah, it's not going to be good. No.
Yeah. So, well, AJ, man, we're coming up on an hour of this. I try and keep these, but I would like to have you back again, maybe at certain couple of times during the year, just talk more lawns and what people should be doing and what they should be, you know, not doing.
So before we wrap this up, let me give some simple critical tips.
That's what I was going to say, you know, in closing this out. Give us your tips.
Okay.
Give us your
y'all heard me say support soil biology. Okay, AJ, well, how do I do that? Or what is real soil food? Number one, your cheapest, best, safest bet, go to the grocery store and get organic molasses. Mix it with water, spray it over everything. It's amazing. Okay, it's cheap, it works, it's easy.
Can you do that now?
You can do that now. You can do that all year long. Okay. And contrary to popular belief, it will actually help you decrease the ants in your lawn. All right?
Yeah.
Because it'll build up your microbes. Ants don't like good bacteria. You win. And liquid seaweed, it's good all year long. Compost. Even, you know, us guys, we got beards now, right? You shave your beard. Go take some of that beard hair and shove it up under your flowers, and you're going to see the best blooms you've ever seen. So stay away from chemicals. Do not treat problems. Feed solutions.
I like it.
Okay? And remember, nobody knows grass like a hippie.
Yeah. I like that tagline, man. I like it.
Yeah.
So, AJ, man, let's say somebody's listening to this show. They want to get a hold of you and say, you know, you are in the League City, let's just say the Galveston area. How does somebody get a hold of you, man?
They can contact me through my website at hippiefertilizing.com. My number is 832-277-3710. And I'm also very active on Facebook. I have a Facebook page. I have a few different social media sites. You can find each and every one of them simply through searching Hippe Fertilizing.
We'll put all those in the show notes too, so that if somebody's listening to this on their phone and they want to look in the show notes, they can find it and click on that too. So.
Yeah, and I encourage y'all, look up the latest blogs. They're got loaded, excellent information that will raise eyebrows and educate you.
Well, good. Man, is there anything else that you wanted to talk about that we didn't get to, or what about don't y'all have an event, or is it coming up this weekend?
Yes. Thank you for reminding me.
Is it this weekend, or
it is this weekend? We got Saturday and Sunday at the boat ramp at Egret Bay. We're doing the 21st annual Clear Creek cleanup. It's been going on for a few weekends, and we got 1.5 more weekends. We got this weekend that we're going to be out there cleaning up again all around the creek. We go down, I guess, like the shorelines of everything, pick up all the trash we possibly can. They provide rubber boots and gloves. Of course, if you can bring your own, that's fantastic. People of all ages are welcome. If you got your own boat that you'd be willing to put some trash on, that's even more awesome. I realize those. You got some cool fisherman boats out there and stuff. So, you know, we have boats there that we get dirty and rough up, and we're cool with that. Our grand finale is going to be the following weekend for the Clear Creek cleanup. And yeah, it's the Clear Creek Environmental Foundation.
Okay. So when this will drop Monday. So that one will have passed, but the final will be the weekend coming up after this one drops.
Yes.
So,
yes.
It
will be Saturday. I believe everything will be starting at 9 a.m. If you can get there earlier, that'll be fantastic. And even on the final one, Esteban's comes out and caters.
Cool.
Right. We have a newspaper that comes out, and lots of people, like, really the whole cleaning up and the ending part happens very fast. So if you don't want to do a whole lot, right, but you still want to be a part of it,
come out at the end.
Come out at the end. Okay.
You get a t-shirt.
And we're going to be doing some amazing changes with the Clear Creek Environmental Foundation this year.
Well, that's great. AJ, man, I appreciate you coming out here and talking to me tonight. I know I do these recordings in the evening, man. When I asked if you can come on by, and I ran into you in HEB a few times, and we were able to do this, man, I really appreciate it. You coming and sharing your knowledge and what you're doing out here. You know, as I said, good old boys can be anybody. They can be any creed, race, color, you know, or even a hippie. So, yeah, AJ, bud, thanks for coming on.
Thank you, Buster.
All right, everybody. This was Hippie with a Haircut, Mr. AJ. Out here spreading wisdom on your lawns, guys. We know we all like to take care of our lawns. We like to make sure they're nice. We like to make sure they're the envy of the neighborhood. But I hope if you've listened to this, maybe you take a step back and you kind of think about your environment a little bit. Let's take a second and maybe try something a little different this year. As always, if you know a good old boy that should be on this show, please contact me. Let me know about him. If you are a good old boy and you've got something to say, shoot me a message. I've got a couple of people lined up already, ready to come on. So we're going to have some good shows coming up. Please go and subscribe and share this and like with your friends. That's how I get ranked higher. That's how I get a little bit more knowledgeable out there. And for all the people who, when I see them asking when's the next one coming out, I really appreciate the listen, and I really do appreciate the support and the messages I've been getting. So guys, good old boys out there, as always, I want you to just say hi to your mom and them for me.